Welcome everyone to 12.3's Z School, Zoho School number 36. Today we're going to talk very broadly about security in the Zoho system. And security is a really big topic, and there's all kinds of security. So we're going to kind of just fly through it. Zoho can be a very, very secure system. You have to know what you want to do. And let me start with that first. And there are, depending on the business you are in, there can be a lot of security requirements. You need to be aware of them. For instance, in the medical business, there's HIPAA, the Health Information Privacy Act. Securities and Exchange Commission, well, if you're in the financial services business, you got to be careful about social security numbers and financial. If you do work for the military, they've got controls over what information can be stored.
Okay.
Credit card information is under what's something called PCI. I'm sure you know all this. And then if you're in Europe, there's a thing called GDPR, General Data Protection Rules. If you're keeping information on people, you have to take reasonable measures to protect that data so it can't be hacked. In America here, corporations largely aren't required to do anything by law, so they just tell you, yeah, somebody took your data. A lot of these procedures are not just technical solutions, they're policy solutions. They require training. For instance, HIPAA, you can't look up someone's medical information, even if you're a doctor, unless you have a reason to. So there's I can't prevent a doctor from looking something up. He might need to. But if you're just looking to be nosy, that's a HIPAA violation. So you have to train people to take good measures. GDPR has a thing. If you don't do business with someone, say they inquire on your website, they give you their email or their phone number, and you wind up not doing business with them, you have to delete them off your system within 30 days. And if they request to be deleted, you have to remove them within 7 days, and you have to prove that you did. You don't have to notify them, but if anybody audits you, you got to tell them. So every system has its rules, and you got to know what they are. And a lot of them require training and policy. So I wanted to put that out there. I'm going to show you a bunch of tools Zoho has. Security, there's all kinds of security. There's security against data loss, so that's backups, and I'll show you that real quick. There's security against data theft, possibly. There's internal bad actors, someone in your organization who already has access to Zoho. You might want to prevent them from doing certain things. We'll show you how to do that. Then you've got external people who might try to log in as you and either hold your data for ransom or just take it. And so you want to have protections against that. So we're going to start. First thing I think everyone should do is go to a tab called accounts.zoho.com. It's not an app, but it's where each individual user can go and just look at their account. So I'm logged into a demo system here, and it wants me to log in again. So this is what accounts looks like. In this first section here, I'll just run through this real quick, but this is just who we are. And again, this is a demo system. So there's my email address and my phone number. Then we go down to security here, and this is my password when it was last changed. I can change it from here. It can ask me some security questions, where you went to high school. You can also do what's called an IP fencing and only allow someone to access Zoho from certain IP addresses. I'd kind of like the opposite. I'd like to be able to say nobody from China should log in as me ever. I don't know what all the Chinese IP addresses are, but unless I go to China, nobody in China should be logging in as me. However, I can just allow their home and the office IP addresses, and I could list those, and then you would only be able to access Zoho from those. I'll skip application specific passwords, but if you have a third-party integration or something, that integration may need to log in as you. You can give a one-time password for that. And then down here under device sign-ins, they'll tell you what devices have recently signed into this account. And if you see, say, someone from Argentina has logged in and you haven't been to Argentina in a while, that might be a matter of concern. So that's just kind of a quick, here's your password, here's where you're allowed to log in. This is a demo account. We don't have a lot of restrictions on it. The next big thing is multi-factor authentication. I think we're all familiar with it. It means you have a password, that's one factor. They can require a second key to get into the system. One is called a OTP, one-time password. And that is just where they send a code to your phone usually. It's mobile based, so they'll send you a code. We've all seen that. You better have your phone nearby, and then you type in the number, so it can be a little bit slow. What I don't use the UB key. The QR code, they'll actually, I think they put a QR code on the screen, and then you take a picture of it with your phone. The UB key I've not used, but it's a physical device. They used to call them dongles. You plug them into a USB port. And if you don't have that key, you're not getting in. So all these things I think can tend to lock us out. What I do like is this Zoho One Auth app. I use that. I don't have it set up here because I don't want to put it on my phone. But let me try to show you what mine looks like. See if I can, I'm turning on my phone. This is a little app I use to see if I can get my phone to come up here. And this is the One Auth app. I'll just show you. You have to download the app and put it on your phone. You set it up through your accounts channel here. This app has 4 modes to it. And you drag one of these 4 modes into the center, and that's the mode you're using. So I use the one called push notification. What that does is it bings my phone when someone logs in as me. And it will tell me so-and-so is logging in. I mean, you have logged into Zoho survey from Nebraska, and I can approve it or I can disallow it. If I approve it, it'll ask me if I want to trust it for that browser for 180 days. I could do Face ID. It would need to see my face. I could do a one-time password, or I can do the QR code. So this actually tells me, it alerts my phone whenever anybody logs in as me. And so we set this up by going to the accounts and turning on One Auth, and that's what I use. It works for all Zoho apps. So it's not just Zoho, but each individual app. A couple things about multi-factor. If you have us do work for you, we have to get into your system, and there's 2 ways to do that. One is you buy us a license, Zoho guy at yourcompany.com, and we use that. And we'll use multi-factor if we have to. Obviously we'll honor whatever security rules you have. But a lot of people don't want to pay for that license. They want us to just log in as them. And if you have things like the mobile one-time password, there's 2 reasons why you might regret that. One is sometimes we got to do work late at night when everybody's off the system, and we're not going to get in. It's going to send a code to your phone, and then you better text us that code quickly within 2 minutes. So it gets to be a little bit of a hassle. 2-factor is more secure. Obviously, some people use the same password for all their apps. Once a bad guy gets a hold of that password, they can get into anything. And if you use the same password on your Zoho, you're kind of asking for trouble. So two-factor is kind of another way to, just another key. You got to open two locks on the door to get through it, right? So multi-factor, turn it on, live with the policy, very secure. This tells me when someone's getting in as me, I will allow that particular browser on that device to work for 180 days. So I don't have to deal with it every time I log in. I'll go down to settings here. These are just some preferences. Be careful. You can close your account here. That's bad. Might be hard to get things back. Sessions is nice. This tells me what computers are currently logged in as me. And looks like Steven is in Syracuse here. Amherst is the office. I don't live in North Tonawanda, but the system thinks I am there. It's just closest internet point, maybe. So this tells me all the machines that are logged in as me, and I also should be a phone in there too. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is not me. This is our demo account. All right. I was going to say my phone should be on there. You'd be surprised. You might be into Zoho on a number of different devices. I can also go into my activity history here and show account activity for this person. Logged into Zoho 158 minutes ago. Before that, it was 14 days ago, 7 days ago. It's pretty much multiples of 7 because I only use this account on our Thursday sessions. So this is Zoho accounts. This is where you set up your passwords. You can limit your IP addresses. You can see where you're logged in on what devices. And you can set up multi-factor. So that is kind of securing your account. The next thing I want to show you is there's a neat little Zoho app called Zoho Vault. And it is right here. I've already turned it on for this account. And it's actually up here. This is a lot like LastPass or KeyPass. A lot of people use these. Some are free, but Zoho gives you one as part of Zoho One. And it's a way to manage all your passwords. So go up here. To get into Zoho Vault, you need a password or what they call a passphrase. And of course, if you don't know it, then you can't get into Zoho Vault. And so if you keep all your passwords in Zoho Vault, that's one you're never going to get if you forget this. If you put this in, you can never forget it. You actually have to check off a little box, and I'm gonna put one in here. Cameron, someday you'll remember it. It's just our password for this account. You put it in once, they're giving me a yellow here. I guess it means it's moderately secure. Put it in twice. If they match, then you say, look, I understand if I forget this, Zoho will not reset it. There's no getting this back. So they're telling you if you forget it, you lose everything. So this is a passphrase that you should never forget. And you don't really want to share it because it gives everyone keys to the kingdom. And so try a new interface. I'm going to say that's the old interface. Let's put the new one on. It's asking me for my passphrase. And you go in here and you just start adding all of your passphrases. So I can add one and we'll just make something up here. So we'll call it a web account and we'll call it my Amazon account. You can put things in folders. I put my username in here and I put my password in here. Now, if I want to, I can ask it to create a password. You just do that. And it just created this password. Its length is 14. I've got rules down here about characters, cases. And so I can use it, or I can say, I don't like that one. Give me another one. And so Zoho Vault will generate passwords for you that are quite complex and pretty hard to hack, and you'll never remember any of them. My only experience with these, and they all do it, is that when you're on a phone and you need to type that in, it takes a while. It's not easily typed, right? So then I save this, and I now have a secret here called Amazon Test. In the company, if this is something I need to share with coworkers, I can share this password with other Vault users. So this might be like keys to our website where Bob and Cameron and Steven need to get in there. So you can have company passwords. They can be personal, and you can have as many as you want. So this is Zoho Vault. It's pretty common password manager. It comes with Zoho, and I like keeping everything Zoho. So this will help you have more complicated passwords. A lot of us want to remember, we all have 100 passwords and we all want to make them easy to remember. So we put in 1, 2, 3 ABC, and that's not good. So this lets you have stronger passwords. There is a Chrome extension for Zoho Vault. I put this right in my Chrome on my production system, just like you can with LastPass and KeePass. So that's another app Zoho gives you called Zoho Vault. You won't find OneAuth in here. OneAuth is just something you set up through your accounts, and you saw I had it on my phone. It'll download onto your phone. So they give you those two apps. Next thing I want to show you is in CRM. We'll talk about CRM. I might run through some other stuff kind of quick, but in CRM, I want to show you some security measures here. And the first one we'll talk about is just database backup. If you go to the wrench, you have to be an administrator. Under data administration, there's a thing called data backup. And if I click on that, Zoho will give you 2 backups a month for free. You can back up every hour if you want, but I think it's $10. Nobody does that. But once every 2 weeks, you see I've got mine set up twice a month scheduled. Next backup will be today. Last one was October 29th. And what's interesting is I'm logged in as user 1 at demo 1. I don't read the email. So the way this works is they back up your data. They then send you an email saying your backup is done. Click here to download it. And you get 2 files. You get all your data. Oops, see, my data backup is running because I set this up at 11 o'clock on some Thursday. You'll get your data in a zip file, and you'll get all your attachments in a separate zip file, and you have to download them and store them wherever you want. In fact, here they are, data.zip. Now, these things are not encrypted. They are unzippable, and you can use that data to populate another Zoho system or migrate to something else. You don't want anybody in the company to be able to make a backup and take it away. This is only available to administrators. So if you feel like you need to have a backup, if you're, HIPAA or military customers require you to have backups of data stored somewhere, this is how you get them. This only backs up CRM data. There is no global Zoho One backup. If you were to use Zoho Books, you have to go in here and do a backup as well of your accounting system. So I won't show you how to do that. So that's just data security in case you're worried about, there's the attachments, there's the data. If you're worried about loss of data, you could make a backup. Next thing I want to show you is data encryption. So probably not going to do this permanently, but I'm going to come in here to customizations. We'll go to contacts, and I will add a field on here called credit card number. Thank you. So we'll just make this a text field. Put it somewhere here. Now, just having this stored in Zoho could be a bad idea. It might not be PCI compliant. Couple things about Zoho. Zoho encrypts the data 256-bit encryption while it's moving. So when we're in you see a little lock up here in the browser, means we're encrypted, but it stores the data what's called at rest. It's not encrypted. However, I can encrypt this field if I want at rest. And so if someone were to go into the Zoho data center, steal the server, steal the hard drive, which is really hard to do. They're bomb-proof, bulletproof buildings. But a lot of businesses require at-rest encryption or encryption at rest. It's called EAR. And if they require that, then you should pick which fields need to be EAR. And so I'm going to go to edit properties for this field. Seems slow today. And there's encrypt field. So you can encrypt it. Now, when you encrypt a field, it gets harder to use. For example, if I were to print this out, it'll probably print out as a bunch of stuff, like you've seen credit cards where all the digits are stars except the last four. If I were to print it out in a report or export it to Excel, obviously this data is encrypted. You don't want it to be easily exported to Excel where someone could put it on a jump drive and walk out the door with it. So it gets harder to read this field programmatically. If Bob or I writes a program to take this number and send it to your QuickBooks, it may not read entirely because it's protected. So you can encrypt it. You can also, if I hit done, another thing you can do, and this is just to help protect against internal abuse, every field in here, if you go to the three dots, you can set permission. And permission is, we have different profiles, user profiles. Our system only has two, administrators and standard. But if this is a field I didn't want standard people to change, I could just set it to read only. So they could see it, but not change it. Or here, I can just hide it from them. And so for every one of your user profiles, we can go into every field and make them read only or invisible. And so if this is a field, if it's social security number and only 4 people in the company are allowed to see it, we would create a profile and put those 4 people in that profile and then make that field available to them. And, it's something you got to manage. Sometimes when you go to, people get confused because the different users see different screens. It's not, they go, why does mine look like this when his looks like that? It can be confusing to some users, but we can hide fields. So this is encrypted at rest. When it's sitting on the Zoho servers, it's encrypted, and it's even invisible from all standard users. So it's pretty locked down field now. So we'll save that. And you know what? Let's just take this a step further. I'm going to close it. I'm an administrator. So we'll go to a contact here. Anyone, anytime. There's Sean Connery. Record might be locked. It's waiting for approval. Man, it's getting slow. Sorry. So here's credit card number. I will just put a, I have to approve this. We must have put record approvals from a different session. Approve. This record is locked. I saw the little padlock on it. Okay, let's go down and give them a credit card number. I apologize for the slowness. I think part of it is when I'm broadcasting my record here. We have a credit card number in here. We save it. I can see it. I think what I'll do is I'll just go to the contact list here. We'll make this easy. I will add the credit card to the screen here. There's his credit card number. Now, if I send this, hopefully this works. I'll send it to Zoho Sheet. I'm just going to export these 19 contacts to Zoho Sheet. That's Zoho's version of Excel. Quick way to get data out of Zoho. And oh, the credit card did show. What's that? Data stored as text. Yeah, we know that. I'm a little surprised at that. All right, we'll leave that. So the next thing you might want to do, this is where you set up user security, is we'll go back to CRM and go, you know what? I don't want just anybody in the company to go to Zoho Sheet and dump out the names. So we're going to go into the wrench. And under security control, I will take standard users here. And when I click on this, these are all the features in Zoho that standard users are allowed to use. And somewhere down here is export. And I can actually go down here. And if I don't want them to export contacts, you know what, I can't edit this one. It's system defined. All right, we'll do this real quick. We'll clone standard user. So normally what you do is you take their two profiles and you clone them. So I will call this T3 sales people. A clone standard. So now I've created a profile called T3 salespeople. And this one I can fully edit. So I can come down here and where it says export, I can actually go in here and say, I'll let them export leads, but I won't let them export contacts or deals. Or I could just turn off all exporting. Same with like mass delete. You don't really want anyone to have the ability to mass delete. So you go through here and you can very granularly give them just the features they need. So anybody have any questions in chat? No, I should have mentioned if you have questions. Well, we're probably going to stop here. So I know I kind of ran through it, but you want to go to accounts.zoho.com and you want to manage your security settings, your password, have a good one. If you want to have really complicated passwords, use Zoho Vault. I like one auth for multi-factor. If you're going to use multi-factor, I do. I find the other ones are just kind of a pain. Every time I want to log in, I got to get a code. I got to be near my phone. And then, go in here once in a while and look at sessions. And, nowadays nobody's in, but there was a time once on Christmas Day, someone in Japan logged in as me. I got notification of it. It happened. Don't know how they got my password, but I quickly changed it, and I can come over here and just terminate that session. Now, if they log in as me, they're immediately going to say, Zoho one-auth. They're waiting for Zoho one-auth approval, and they won't get in until I on my phone approve it. So this is securing your account. Then we went into CRM and showed you how to do a backup, and that's kind of just having protection against data loss. I'll knock on whatever, never had to restore in my life, and I work on Zoho every day. I've never had to restore a Zoho system from a backup, ever. And I shouldn't brag about that because there's always famous last words. But, but still, people feel it might be part of your ISO 9000 that we have backups, current backups, and we have a process for that. So you can do that. You do have to back up your different Zoho apps individually. There is no giant Zoho one backup. Then we went into CRM and actually encrypted fields. If your security plan requires data to be encrypted, you can do that. I also showed you you don't have to encrypt data. You can just hide a field on someone if it's not something everybody needs to see. You can also make the field read only so that they don't change it. And so the whole idea of security is it's not just technical features, it's also processes and procedures. It's also identifying the threat. The threat could be loss of data, so a hard drive blows up. The threat could be a bad employee. That's someone who does have keys to Zoho, but maybe you don't want to give them the rights to do things. The threat could be an external person, which you want to prevent them from logging in. And I can go on and on about security. I've got one of my military clients, the customer has to buy cell phones for the employees. In other words, they don't want military data on someone's personal cell phone. So they had to buy them all second phones. And then there's requirements about how locked down those phones are, because I read something a long time ago said about 25% of cell phones are lost. People leave them in bars and things like that. You don't really want some big Raytheon project sitting on a bar. So anybody have any question? I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you for attending. See you next week. And